Hi there, this is Simon Samara with Nomis Engineered, and in this video we will be talking about how to set up the Garden Station Model C by Nomis Engineered. Alright, so we're going to have four main topics here. It'll be filling up the system, turning on the lights and setting the timer, introducing new plants, and going over the fill rate as the plants grow and you add plants and take out plants. Okay, so let's get started. Filling up the system. Now, before you fill up the system, you want to make sure the system is level. Okay, we'll check that in a second. And then you also want to make sure that it's located in a place that it's going to stay. Because once you fill it up, you're not going to be able to move it because it's going to have water in there. If you try to pick it up, it might spill. So let's just find a suitable location. Okay. So what we're going to do first, so I have all these items installed. We could remove them. Take the cover off and just put it on the side. Okay. And here you should have a tank. It should be empty. Empty. At this point, we want to check the level. So now we have what we'll be adding is water and nutrients to this. So I'm going to quickly go over the nutrients in the water. Now, I'll be using General Hydroponics Floranova Grow Blend. So I have no affiliation with General Hydroponics, or the water we'll be using is distilled water. No affiliation with these brands at all. This is just stuff that I use, found to be useful. So the nutrients, you could find a lot of these. You can find them online. Nomis Engineered does not supply the nutrients or the water. So generally speaking, with nutrients, there's two blends. There's a grow blend and then there's a bloom blend. Since we're adding new plants, we're going to go with the grow blend. The bloom blend is usually for different types of plants. We will not be planting, it'll be more for plants that flower. Like flowers, tomatoes actually flower to create the tomato, strawberries, peppers, stuff like that requires pollination and everything. But for this situation, it's going to be mainly greens, where we'll be growing lettuce, basil, and cilantro. So what we have here on the nutrients, all the nutrients, similar like fertilizers, they have these three numbers. Now those three numbers are, first number is always the nitrogen, then the second number is the phosphorus, and the third number is the potassium. Now each supplier could potentially have different numbers for their grow or bloom blend, but they'll be very similar to this, and they might be a little bit smaller because they might add a little bit of water that waters down those numbers a little bit. So what you really want to do is find out from your nutrient supplier. They should have information. Actually, they do have information about how much of this nutrient to add for how much water. So when I've looked it up for this one specifically, for 6 gallons of water, we need 36 milliliters of this nutrient. Okay, so this is very important because, like say for example, if you were to spill this whole bottle in there and you had a lot of these nutrients in there, the plants will potentially go into this lockout where they won't take any nutrients and they won't necessarily grow, won't be good for them. So you definitely use the right amount. It could be you could use a little bit less, a little bit more. You'll see it as you go, as you grow more, you'll get a better idea of what works better for you and the plants that you use. But generally speaking, you would have to add quite a bit of this to get to that nutrient lockup. But now, that being said, these nutrients are designed by these suppliers to provide the right amount. Okay, so now that being said, it's important that you use filtered water, that you use like distilled water, deionized water, or reverse osmosis water. And the reason is, if you were to use, for example, city water or well water, or maybe spring water, drinking water, something a little bit different, all those other waters actually have nutrients in them already. And they aren't necessarily designed for growing plants. So you want to use this along with clean water that has no nutrients in it already. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start adding the water. I know the system takes a little bit less than 6 gallons. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 5 gallons right now. So now we will add the nutrients. I have my nutrients in my measuring cup. We want 36 milliliters, so I find that. This says shake vigorously. Give that a good shake. We will add clean that up. Okay, we have about 36. We'll add that in here. I like to dip this in a little bit to clean out the nutrients. Not all of it comes out. What you can do for that is you can actually, and to dilute that, that's fine. We'll close this up. All right, so we have 5 gallons of nutrients in there. I wanted to leave the last gallon for the final, verification with the level. So here, let's put the top back on here. Okay, so here we have the level indicator, and this is designed to go into this hole here. That's not using any of the net pots and has no little clips around it. And what we have is this level right here is what you want to have your maximum level at. So you definitely don't want to fill the liquid level any higher than this, okay? And this right here, you don't want the level to go any lower than this. Okay, go ahead and put that in here. We've got our trusty funnel. Okay, and now we will add the last gallon and we'll watch this level. Okay, now we are perfectly at that level. So now we've added our water, we got it to the right level. We need to mix this up, so what we'll do is we'll remove this funnel, clean up a little bit of water spillage here, and then we'll get our air pump. Drop the air stone in there like so. Make sure nothing's wet, and I have an extension cord here, so I will plug this in. And it'll help if I plug it into there as well. Okay, so now we have our bubbles, and there's bubbles coming out of that air stone. There's a little switch on the front of this air pump that if you turn it, it turns the bubbles on low or bubbles on high, more bubbles, less bubbles. We want these bubbles, we want it to mix for like 5 minutes or so. Okay. So in the case you added too many nutrients, or you decided, okay, I want to move this somewhere else, do not pick up the system while it is full of water. What you'll want to do is get a pitcher, and then you want to take the cover off and then slowly scoop out the water and pour it into a suitable reservoir until there's no water. There's a tiny little bit of water where you could take out the tub and empty it somewhere else. So we'll let this go for 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so now that it's been approximately 5 minutes, what we'll do is unplug. Put our cover back on, and let's just quickly reinstall all of these net pots. And as you'll see, there will be a little bit of water at the bottom of the net pot now. But now it's time to turn on the lights and set the timer. Okay, so the timer, basically, you might have slightly a different timer. There's a couple different timers that we supply, but they're generally speaking, they work the same way. Okay, so you have these little tabs. You push the ones. You push them down. When they're down, it'll be on. The light will be on. If they're up, the light will be off. So what you want to set somewhere between 18 on, 6 hours off, or 16 hours on, 8 hours off. Something around there, something in between. So first what you'll do is you'll set your time, and it's currently 2 o'clock p.m. And go ahead and set that. Okay, and I already have my time pulled out, so I'm actually going to shut this off. It's going to shut off at 11 p.m. and start back up at 7:30 a.m. Okay. So I'll plug this into my outlet. Plug in the light. Okay. And now we have light. I do want to let you know that the light switch actually has an actual switch, or the light fixture comes. The power cord comes with a switch, so it might not turn on when you plug it in. It depends on what position the switch is in. Okay, now you've got your lights on, you got the timer set, and now we will be introducing new plants. Now, Nomis Engineered does not supply plants or seeds, although we do supply the seed boxes and the rock wool that these plants are grown in. Okay, so here I have 2 boxes. I have spicy basil, which is a different variation of the basil, and then I have cilantro and oak leaf lettuce. Okay, so we have our seed boxes, and please, if you have any questions on how to plant the seeds in these seed boxes and more information about these seed boxes, please watch our other video of planting with seeds. So we have to now be careful when we pull these plants out, so that not to damage them. There's actually, out of 4 of them, only 3 of them grew, so that's actually good because that helps with finding a spot to grab this. Now, this was designed, these holes are actually small enough to where, for size, so you could get a pencil in there to help push that out. Okay, so now you have your plants with your rock wool, and there's 4 cubes, so you could actually split it like this. Put between the plants there. Pull it apart, okay? And drop where you would like to put your plants. Now we have these in place. Now we want to put these foam pads around the plants themselves. I'll go ahead, and the pads have a slit in the middle where you could pull it apart and then gently put it around the plant, like so. Now some of your plants might not be large enough yet. Their stems, they might be not tall enough, so you might want to wait a little while in order to put one of these foam pads on if the plant isn't above this level. And then we also have these cages that Nomis Engineered supplies, and these will help the cilantro or any larger plants kind of grow upwards, and so their leaves aren't falling over, and gives them a lot more support. Similar, these foam pads also provide quite a bit of support so that once the plants get bigger, they're not falling over. But now, okay, so the cilantro, go ahead. Oh, I'd like to mention also, when you're transplanting the plants, sometimes they look a little bit weaker and they're falling over, but you're moving them around a lot, and it might take them a couple of days to gain their strength and stand back up. We'll go ahead and put this around cilantro as so. Okay. And rotate the clip so it stays in place. Okay, we'll finish off with putting these foam pads on the remaining. Okay, so now we have all our plants in place. Okay, now we're going to go over the last part, the fill rate. So when the plants are young like this, and the roots are all the way here at the top, so you can imagine that inside here the roots are only at a certain level, and the water level is up above that. So as the plants get larger, the roots will grow down into the box inside, and the root level will go down, and as the plants get bigger, the liquid level will also go down. So when the plants are this size, you want the water level at the highest level, which is up around here. And then as the plants grow, they'll take the liquid as nutrients and grow. You shouldn't need to add anything else for, could be 2 to 4 weeks. Now, as they get bigger, they're going to take more nutrients, so you might have to fill up the liquid level every 1 to 2 weeks. So if you have larger plants, you will not need as high of a liquid level, but then if you have larger plants and you add younger plants, then you will need to raise the liquid level in order so the younger plants also get the liquid and could continue to start growing. If you like this and you'd like to have more information on these systems and how to grow, please like and subscribe this video or our station so that you get notified when new information is published. Thank you for your time, and remember, sustainability through solutions.